Guys, y'all know I host Club Shay Shay. And I sit down and have a conversation with a lot of different people, Stephen A. And there are sometimes they've said things in the interview. I will ask after the interview, you said such and such a thing. Are you okay with that being left in, or do you want us to edit that out? And a lot of times they say, no, I'm fine with it. And then they'll call us a day or two later after having time to think about it and say, nah, can you remove that? Sure, no problem. Because I never want to paint anybody in a bad negative light. I'll always ask, is there anything you don't wish to talk about? And sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no. And in the process of saying no, as Terry Crews told me, never shake your head yes and mean no. Steve, if I'm Mark J. Spears, I'm gonna ask, I say, Doc, are you sure? Are you absolutely certain you want this out there? Because do you understand how bad this is going to make you look when people read this? Because this is your words. Are you sure you want this out here?
Correct!
Tell the truth, Shannon Sharpe. Talk about having high insight there. Wow, great stuff. This is Sports Guy talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about Doc Rivers making delusional claims about his coaching legacy. Apparently, Doc Rivers wants more credit given to his name when talking about elite NBA head coaches. In Doc Rivers' mind, he should be given credit for never getting swept in a playoff series. Before I say anything else, though, I want to present you guys with the topic question. So, here it is. Is Doc Rivers an overrated all-time great head coach? Obviously, the answer to this question should be yes. That is like asking if the sky is blue. It really is that obvious. Now, I want to make myself very clear when I am talking about Doc Rivers. I'm not saying Doc Rivers is a terrible head coach. In fact, I'm going to go as far as to say that Doc Rivers is worthy of being a Hall of Fame caliber head coach. However, we have to take what Doc Rivers accomplished into full context. Doc Rivers has won one championship. Yes, that's certainly true. However, he has been coaching in the NBA for a quarter century. This man has been a head coach in the NBA for more years than I have been alive on planet Earth. Doc Rivers has won one championship despite working with a lot of all-star talent. Most NBA head coaches could only dream of the rosters Doc Rivers has been working with, but Doc Rivers only has one championship to show for it. Now, he did win that one ring in 2008, which I will give Doc Rivers credit for. I know some Doc Rivers haters are going to say that he doesn't deserve credit for winning that championship in 2008, but you know what? I'm feeling generous today. I'm going to give Doc Rivers the benefit of the doubt. However, what I will get on Doc Rivers for is his ability to constantly blow 3-1 leads in playoff series. There have only been 13 blown 3-1 leads in the history of the NBA. Doc Rivers is responsible for 3 of those. Look, if you blow a 3-1 lead once, I might be able to forgive you. If you blow it twice, okay, I might be able to look past it. But when you blow 3-1 leads, I have to start looking at you and wondering if you're the problem there. Now, I understand that Doc Rivers has been a part of some unfortunate circumstances. The Orlando Magic blowing a 3-1 lead to the Detroit Pistons, I'm not going to get on Doc Rivers too bad for that because the Orlando Magic were an 8 seed. Most 8 seeds don't go up 3-1 in a given series. Although, to be fair, when you go up 3-1 in a series, you should be able to close out a series more often than not, and Doc Rivers was not able to do that. So yes, Doc Rivers should be getting roasted for not getting the job done. However, Doc Rivers has managed to blow 3-1 leads on stacked teams. You remember that Lob City Clippers? They had Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, JJ Redick, Blake Griffin, Jamal Crawford, and other role players. There was no reason for the Clippers to blow that series against the Houston Rockets. That's a series the Clippers have to close out, especially if you're a Doc Rivers-led team. And then, of course, they blow the 3-1 lead against a young Nuggets team. That was the year they were in the bubble. Doc Rivers was not able to get his teams to close out a series when it mattered most. Doc Rivers is 6-10 in Game 7s. That's not going to cut it for me. Doc Rivers has a 16-33 record in closeout games. That's not good enough either. Doc Rivers should shoulder some of the blame for that. Now, can we say some of that is due to bad luck? Absolutely, but when you've blown a lead that many times, then we have to start questioning whether you're the problem or not. And Doc Rivers wants credit because his teams go up 3-1 in a given series. No, that is not how it works. You get credit when you win playoff series. You don't get credit for almost winning playoff series. That's the beautiful thing about sports. It's black and white. I also want to show you guys this clip of JJ Redick going off on Doc Rivers last year. I found his takes to be rather interesting at the time. Of course, those takes have aged like fine wine because Doc Rivers has continued to prove that he is a choke artist as an NBA head coach. Roll the film.
Side note, real quick. No one's going to react to Doc's audio there. We've been 7 minutes since we showed that audio. Nobody's going to react to Doc's audio?
Do you want me to get it for you?
He joined. He joined.
We don't have to repeat it.
I can repeat it.
I've seen the trend now. I've seen the trend for years.
What's the trend?
The trend is always making excuses. Doc, we get it. Taking over a team in the middle of the season is hard. It's hard. We get it. Just like getting traded in the middle of the season is hard for a player. We get it. But it's always an excuse. It's always throwing your team under the bus. They lose to Memphis. Oh, it's his players' fault. Memphis was playing G League guys and two-way guys. And then you look at his quotes over the weekend. Now he wants to take credit for the James Harden trade to the Clippers working out. He wants credit for that. There's never accountability with that guy. There's never accountability.
Say that again?
There's never accountability with that guy. There's never accountability.
Boom! Thank you, JJ Redick, for sharing the truth about Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers is a guy that wants praise being thrown onto him when he wins, but when he loses, he wants the blame to go to his players. That's not what I want from a leader at the head coach position. Doc Rivers is a solid head coach in his own right, but he's not some all-time great NBA head coach. Now, if you're satisfied winning 45 to 50 games a year, then yeah, Doc Rivers should be your head coach. However, Doc Rivers has not shown that he can get his team past the second round of the NBA playoffs since the 2012 NBA season. The last time Doc Rivers made the conference finals as a head coach, that was back when Kendrick Perkins was still playing for the OKC Thunder instead of being an absolute idiot at ESPN. It's been too long since Doc Rivers has made an appearance in a conference finals. I understand that Doc Rivers won a world championship, but let me put this in context as well. Nick Nurse won an NBA championship back in the 2019 NBA season, but I don't see anybody listing Nick Nurse as an elite NBA head coach, yet Doc Rivers continues to be named as an elite NBA head coach year after year after year. It's getting annoying, and I quite frankly cannot handle it anymore. JJ Redick shed light as to how Doc Rivers really is as a head coach, and I could not agree more with JJ Redick. Doc Rivers fails to make adjustments when it matters most, and he's too loyal to his players. That's why Doc Rivers continues to blow leads, and that's why he's a terrible head coach when it comes to making adjustments. Doc Rivers is good at getting his teams to overachieve. However, when you give Doc Rivers all-stars to work with, that's when he becomes a liability. Doc Rivers has proven that he is a good NBA head coach, but not a great NBA head coach. Everybody keeps celebrating Doc Rivers like he's this greatest head coach in NBA history, when in reality, he's really just the Mike Tomlin of the NBA. He won one championship back in the 2000s, and he's been living off that season since. It's time to start holding Doc Rivers accountable, and for him to make the comments that he made is absolutely stupid. Good job to Shannon Sharpe for calling out Doc Rivers. I thought he spoke absolute truth. I couldn't agree more with what Shannon Sharpe said. Does Doc Rivers not realize that if he talks the way that he talked about not wanting to take blame for blowing 3-1 leads, yeah, of course people are going to go ahead and rip you. If I was a player under Doc Rivers, and if I had a media platform, yeah, I'm going to go on TV and rip you for blowing those 3-1 leads on a consistent basis. You blew a 3-1 lead not once, not twice, but 3 times. The common denominator is you. It's time for everybody else to start realizing that, hey, Doc Rivers is not that guy when it comes to winning a closeout game. There's a reason why Doc Rivers teams can't get it done when it matters most. We've seen it on multiple teams. It's going to happen again for the Bucks this year. They're not going to win an NBA championship with Doc Rivers as their head coach. So that is why Doc Rivers is an overrated all-time great head coach, as his teams have failed to reach a conference finals appearance since the 2012 NBA season. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking, like the video, and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That'll be for the @DustinNazTran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @DustinNazTran, and that's Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @DustinNazTran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoy the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video, comment down below, check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel, Sports Guy Talking.